ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ Khalsa ji, this is the fourth lecture where we are going to learn the fourth row of Gurmukhi letters. We have learned first 15 letters of Gurmukhi. The 16th letter is Tanka. The first step is how to write this letter. If you look at it closely, you will know that it is the third letter of Gurmukhi that we learn, which was something like this. If you remove this line, it will be the 16th letter of Gurmukhi. Both are same, but the only difference is this line. This is Ed, this is Tanka. How to write it? The same way how we did it while learning the third letter of Gurmukhi. First step, I will have a 1 here. Oops, we did not have 1 to 0. Let me write it quickly. Okay, we have the numbers. Just get 1 from here. The second thing that I am going to use is a C. So this is how you will write Tanka. First 1, then a C, a line here. Second step. Similar letters. We have already discussed the third letter, which was similar. Apart from that, we can have the 20th letter of Gurmukhi, but it will not be completely like this, but somehow we are going to use this letter to write the 20th letter of Gurmukhi. Third step, pronunciation. Pronunciation is very easy for this letter. We will be using 2 words of English. The first word is tank. Sorry. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get this sound, tang, and the second word that I will use is car. I will use this sound of car. Ka. Tang, ka. From tank, we will get the sound tang, and from car, we will get the sound ka. So it will be tang, ka. This is how you will pronounce this letter. Fourth step, sound of the letter. So let me rub this. Sound of the letter will be so it will be t. If I have to write it, so it will be something like that. We have this word, right, term. So the sound of this letter, not a T but term, how we say it in this word. So this sound of T here, t, will be the sound of this letter. If no symbol is attached, then the letter is going to give you the sound of t. T like we have in term. The fifth step, examples. Examples will definitely be, we can have term. The first example, the second example, we can have turkey, which is a or a bird, I guess. And a bird, I guess, yeah. Term, turkey, these 2 examples I have for now. The sixth step is wrong sounding words. This is an important step, as we know. If the word is starting from a T, it does not mean that we will be using this letter always. No, we have exceptions. So again, I have said it so many times, Gurmukhi or Punjabi is all about sounds. If you remember the sound, you will know which letter to use and which symbol you need to attach. The example for this can be this country, Thailand. If you say Thailand, how we say this letter, Thailand, then this will be the example of this letter. So it will become your fifth step. If you say it Thailand, not Thailand, then it will come under sixth step. So it all depends how you sound the word. Maybe in different countries, people will be sounding this word or country differently. So I'm just saying it. I heard it Thailand, so that's why I put it in the sixth step. So Thailand will not be starting from this letter. The other example that we can see is thank. We do not say thank, we say thank. So that thank sound will be given by some other letter of Gurmukhi, but not this 16th letter of Gurmukhi. So just remember this thing. All the words which are starting from T does not mean that they need to be starting from this letter of Gurmukhi. No, some of the letters can, some of them cannot, depending on how we pronounce the word. Seventh step is how to write it correctly. So what we said was, first we will have a line, one, and then a C. But it is not correct. The same was true in the third letter of Gurmukhi. It will be something like this. A line, one, and then it will be like this. This will not be a curve, but a little bend here. Not like this, but something like this, you can say. So this is how you will write this letter correctly. Again, this is all how you're going to see in books and newspapers, but in general, when people write on a paper, they will write it in this way. A line, this thing, and this thing. 16th letter, tanka. The 17th letter is thatha. How to write this letter? It is very simple. First step, you will have a line first, one, and then NO, you can say. So this will be your 17th letter of Gurmukhi. Second step, do we have any similar letters? No. Third step, how to pronounce this letter? I could not find any words which will help me to have the pronunciation written on the word. So it will be something like this, tata. And if you have to write it in letters, it will be like tata. It will not sound how I said it, but somehow you can write it in this way if you have to have in letters. So just don't think about this what I wrote here. The pronunciation will be tha, tha, tha. This is how you will pronounce this letter. You might have remembered in one of the lectures we discussed a column where we will be having the letters that will not be commonly spoken in other languages. So this is one of those letters. It is not falling into that column, but still it is. Fourth is sound of the letter. The sound of the letter will be th. If no symbol is attached, the sound it is going to give us is th, th. Your tongue will be touching the upper part of your mouth while saying it. Th. Fifth step. Any examples that I can give you in English? I cannot actually, I could not find any. But if you have any examples where a word will be starting from this letter, please let me know in the comment section below. Again, wrong sounding words will not be having. If we do not have anything here, it will be a little hard to get something here. The seventh step is how to write it correctly. It is the correct way how we wrote it. First a line, one, and then a big O. So this was the 17th letter of Gurmukhi, Tata. Now we have the 18th letter of Gurmukhi, which is the Da. How to write this letter? First thing. So we will have a 3. After 3, we will just do it like this. Simple. A 3 and a kind of a 0 here, you can say. This will give you the 18th letter of Gurmukhi. Second step. If you know this letter, are you going to learn any other letter? And the answer is yes. You will learn the 21st letter of Gurmukhi that we are going to discuss in the next lecture, and then you will learn the 35th letter. The third step is pronunciation. How to pronounce this letter. We will have this word, dad. But in some countries, I don't know if it is a cultural thing or related to the country, but sometimes we will be saying our father, not dad, just da. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this letter first, which is d. How we say it in dad, that last sound that we have, dad, d, dad, that d sound that we have at last, I will have that sound first, d, and then this, da. Da, da. So this will be the pronunciation of this letter. Fourth step is the sound of the letter. If no symbol is attached, the sound of this letter will be D. Like we have in dad, the last D sound we will have as the sound of this letter. Not a D, but D. How we say it in dad. That last D sound will come here. The fifth step is examples. We have examples, of course. The example that I can give you is dwarf, and the other word that I can think of right now is dwindle. We cannot use dad as an example here, and you know the reason. If you want to have the sound of dad, you have to have symbols attached to this letter. Without that, you cannot have the sound of da. But if we talk about Dwarf, I do not need to attach any symbols. The same is true for dwindle. Sixth step, any word which will be starting from a D but will not be starting from this letter. There is this country in Africa, I guess. So it's something like Djiboudi. So it will be pronounced as Djibouti. So I think this D is silent here. So if I am going to write this word in Punjabi, then I will not be using this letter to start this word. So it will not be Djibouti, but Djibouti. Seventh step, how to write it correctly. We wrote it correctly. First line, a 3, and then a thing here. Oops, you have to attach it like this. So it will be something like this, a line. So this will be the correct way of writing this letter. 18th letter of Gurmukhi, Dadda. The 19th letter of Gurmukhi is Tadda, and this is one of the letters that we discussed, which will be a little hard to pronounce, and it is unique to Punjabi speakers, or you can say to Gurmukhi letters. First step is how to write this letter. It is a little tough to write, and I'm pretty sure all those numbers will not help me in any way. Yeah. So how we will write it? First, you have to have a line, one, and then a line this. You have to have like this, and then this. We will be having two zeros. First one is here, second one is here. Just remember this. We will discuss more about it in the seventh step. So a line first, and then something like this. This will be Tadda. Second step, similar letters. I think there is only one similar letter that you are going to get at 23rd place of Gurmukhi letters. So we will cover this up in the next lecture. The 23rd letter of Gurmukhi will be similar to this letter, only this below this thing will not be there. We will discuss it. So the third step is how to pronounce this letter. The 17th letter is similar to this letter, Tadda. I mean, especially the pronunciation. And if I'm learning it the first time, I will really get confused with these two letters. The 17th letter, we wrote it in this way. Something like that. There is no word that I can think of right now. But if it is there, please let me know. But in the case of the 19th letter of Gurmukhi, it will be similar. We can change a letter, I guess. Let's have a D here instead of an H. So this will be the pronunciation of this letter. It will be Tadda. For this letter, we will cover the 17th, 18th, and 19th letters, because these three letters are so similar that we get confused how to say the letter and where they are going to get used. The fourth step is sound of the letter. The sound of the letter will be T. Here the sound is T. From the back of your throat, you can say, from deep down, you have to say this letter T. It is from simply just say duh, but if you say it with a force, it will be T. So that t sound will be the sound of this letter. It is a little confusing, I know, but this is how you say the letters. The examples. Yeah, the fifth step is the examples. The example that I can give you is this. This is the capital of Bangladesh, Dhaka. If you are a Hindi speaker, in Hindi we say it Dhaka, but that dha sound we are not going to get from this letter, and it is wrong to say it in Punjabi. So in Punjabi we don't say Dhaka, we say Taka. That ta sound you are going to get from this letter, Taka. And it is not completely true actually. If I am going to use this word as an example, then apart from this letter, what I need to do is I need to attach one symbol, which will be this. So this whole thing will give me the sound of ta. If I am not having this symbol here that I attached, without this, the sound of this will be t. But this symbol, which gives the sound of a, if you attach that a sound to this letter, it will become ta. So these symbols we will discuss in other lectures, so let's not get confused here. But I do not have any other example that I can give where there is no symbol attached. So if you guys know, please let me know in the comment section below. Sixth step is the wrong sounding words. So the wrong sounding words, you can say, if I am going to remember, if I am going to use this t letter, then this dh should be there, or dha should be there. You know, the easy way of remembering where to use what letter, but it will be very confusing for many of the people who are new to Gurmukhi. We have this example. This is the word used in Indian languages, but I think it is there in the English dictionaries also. This is dharma. If I am going to remember this letter from DH or DHA, then it will be wrong, because dharma is an exception and many other words can be there which will be starting from DH or DHA, but we will not be using this letter here. So do not, I am repeating it again, do not remember how to use this letter on the basis of the letters that we have in English. Just remember the sound and it will be so easy to remember. Here we say dharma. We do not say dharma, right? That t sound, it is going to give you. So you do not say dharma, you say dharma. This is how you should remember it with the sounds. The seventh step, how to write it correctly. So it is something like this, a line here, then one line, and then you will have this. So just remember this thing. So if you're reading a newspaper or a book, remember that this thing will be filled. We have it like this above, but this will be filled. You will have only one kind of zero, you can say, not here. But in general, when writing on a paper, you will write it in this way, like we wrote, a line, this thing, and then this. This is how you will write it. So this was the 19th letter of Gurmukhi, the fourth letter in this row, the da. Before we move to the 20th letter of Gurmukhi, let's discuss the last three letters that we learned, because they are very confusing. The 17th letter is Thatha, 18th letter is Dada. 19th letter is Tada. Tata, Tha, Tha. And then this is Dada. And I'm pretty sure this is easy to remember, because we have that example, DAD, dad. So just get da here first and then this sound here. So it is easy to remember, I guess. Dada. These two letters, let me circle it in red. These two letters are a little tough to master. This is Tata. This is Tada. Tata and Tada. Just remember how they sound and how to pronounce them. Its pronunciation will be Tata and it will give you the sound of T. Its pronunciation will be Tada and it will give you the sound of T. This will give you the sound of D, like we have in dad, the last letter you can say of this word dad. But here and there it is a little tough. But just remember, this is how you're going to learn. If you practice it 5 or 10 times, it will be easy to remember. Again, I am going to pronounce it. This is Tata, this is Tada. Now let's discuss the 20th letter of Gurmukhi. Rana. Again, a letter which is tough to master. So the first step is how to write it. First, have a line, and you can have something like this. Let me here also have it in this way, so it will be easy to know how to write it. So after this line, remember the 16th letter that we discussed, Tanka. We will use it here. The only difference is we will not have a line here. No, it will be wrong. So we will remove this line. We need to have only this part here, a line here, then this, and then this. Or you can remember it in this way, 1 and C. So this is how you will write it. The second step is similar letters. We do not have any similar letters. This is a unique letter. The third step is how to pronounce this letter. The pronunciation of this letter is Rana. Rana. And how to write it? If I have to write it in letters in English, it will be something like this. It is not correct actually, but this is how you can sound it. Na, na, rana. Actually, it is wrong, I guess. This is hard, to have some letters. Some letters are there in Gurmukhi which are very hard to have it in English letters because they will not be sounding how we want it to sound. So if I'm saying NHA and NA should be Nana, then it does not look good to me. And I do not have any other example or a way to tell how to pronounce this letter. So the pronunciation without writing it, if I have to tell you, it will be Na, Na, Rana. This is how you're going to pronounce. The fourth step, how to sound off the letter, it will be Na. Na is the sound of this letter. This is Na. The letter is called Nana, but the sound of this letter will be Na. Nana and Na. And if you have to have the sound of Nana, then there is another tricky thing. Apart from this letter, what I need is I need to have this symbol. So it is a little tough to have the sound of na without attaching this symbol. So you have to have the symbol to sound it like nana. Otherwise it will not. This is na, and again you have to have it this letter and this symbol again. So this whole thing will give you nana. We will cover this up in the upcoming videos where we'll be writing it in Punjabi instead of English. Like if you remember, we talked about the 18th letter of Gurmukhi, right? We said Dadda, but I told you how to write it. It will be like this: D-A-D, get D first, and get D first and then da. Instead of doing it in this way, we want to write it in Gurmukhi. How we will write it in Gurmukhi? For all the letters, we are going to cover this up in the next lectures when we have all the letters and sounds covered up. Without knowing the letters and without knowing the symbols and how to attach, it will be very hard to represent it in Gurmukhi letters. So we will cover it up, don't worry. But for the time being, this will not be the correct way of writing this letter's pronunciation. So the pronunciation is Rana and the sound is Na. Example. So this is again those one of those letters which we say Rana is khali, means Rana is blank. We do not have any word which will be starting from this letter, and this is limited to only Punjabi. But when you read Gurbani, you will see the words which will be starting from this letter. The example, we do not have any example in English or in Punjabi. The sixth is wrong sounding words. It will be hard because I do not have anything here. So here it is hard to just get a word. Seventh is how to write it correctly. So it is the same how we did in the 16th letter of Gurmukhi. What we said was we will not be having a C here, but it will be something like this, one and then this thing. The same thing is true. A line, this thing, one and then this thing. So this is Rana, the 20th letter of Gurmukhi. Let's cover up whatever we have discussed so far in this lecture. The 16th letter is Tanka. 17th letter is Thatha. 18th letter is Dadda. 19th letter is Tadda. I don't know why it happens every time. This line you see, right? It should not be there. Damn it. Okay. 20th letter is Tanka Thatha Dadda Tadda Nana. These 5 letters we discussed in today's lecture. And one more thing, remember the line at the top of each letter. There is no letter where we should not be having any line in this row. All the 5 letters have a line above. Only few letters are there where we will not be having the line. We will have all those letters covered up in some other lecture. So this was the 4th row of Gurmukhi letters. Tanka, Thatha, Dadda, Tadda, Nana. The next row we will be discussing in the next lecture. Please let me know if you have any questions in the comment section below. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.